So we talked a little bit about the definition. We've talked about how we select candidates. Now I want to talk a little bit about how leadership development programs get created. Lots of times a program will be created, they use fads, next best thing that's happening, and there's a reason for that. I think maybe the organization, but I always go to the executive staff, they want to look like they're on the leading edge, right? You know, there might not be anything wrong with some of the fads and the trends that are going on, but they're basically they're often not grounded in any kind of science. They're not. They are a fad, right? But they may make your company look sexy and contemporary. This is one that everyone's going to like. Oftentimes they focus on competency models. I struggle with this. I mean, we even have, you know, Hogan has a list of 60 competencies, et cetera. I'm not saying there's not a place for competencies, but competency models are often arbitrary. They can frequently change. They're often developed by the current executives. You guys didn't seem to do that. You looked at jobs, right? That's one size fits all. It's not behavior specific. So I might say, you know, as a competency, everyone in our organization needs to have good communication skills or know how to use a clicker. But if I say that, it's really difficult to go to a development level with a competency, because what is good communications? Now you guys stopped and you said you defined yours, which I love that too, because what's the behavior that you're trying to change when I say you have, you know, good or bad communication skills? So they're too generic. You have to go down into the individual behavior. You talk too much. You don't listen enough. You interrupt others. What is the behavior that's telling me I have either good communication skills or bad communication skills? So I struggle with using competency models to develop your training for those reasons. Most of the time, leadership development programs, I think, ask the wrong questions. So did they like the experience? Okay, well, that's fine if you did. Probably learn more if you did, but did they get promoted? Did they feel better about themselves when the program was over? And then did their supervisor notice any change in their behavior? Well, all those things are pretty soft measures, but they're set up. I mean, like if I'm your supervisor and I know you went through a leadership program and I see you do something right, I'm like going, wow, look at it, yay, you know. But I mean, so it's not a strong enough focus to say that your program is good if these are the kinds of things you're looking at. So how should a leadership program be developed? I think ignore the trends and forget fads. I say divorce yourself from your development from competency models, mostly because I want you to drill down into what the behavior is. And I think if you use an assessment that identifies behavior, you won't even need the competency models. And it's also very important that you select assessments that are based on good psychometrics. Hogan might be one of those. But professionally well regarded, you know, support diversity in your leadership programs and focus on important leadership behaviors such as trust, competence, vision, not who's in, not who's out. And I say depend less on leadership assessments that focus on competencies. I'm going to hit that again a little bit. And why I want to talk about that is that the issue is that it's hard to get a lot of context with competencies. So it seems that mostly if you look at it, you would say, oh, you know what? You have really strong decision-making skills. Keep it up. I don't know how that helps me. It's, you know, you have it or you don't have it. It kind of sets that up, good or bad. You're bad connecting with others. I think you need to fix that. And then with competency, high scores are better, right? If you have high scores on this, don't worry about a thing. And then the context too. Your scores indicate you're not a strategic leader. Without context, what does that mean to me? I don't know where to go with that. But if you look at and focus on leadership assessments that focus on behaviors, then you have what I'm going to keep calling is the context. So you can have a conversation, you can have the feedback. So it gives you a sense of how you can approach your tasks. You approach your decision, the way you approach decision making seems analytical. Here are some of the implications for your team. This is how your team sees you. This is what's going on there. how you manage demands. The way you connect with others seems objective and assertive. Here's how this might affect your team. Notice how I'm going to the team because that should be the measure, right? But I'm just trying to show you the difference between drilling down and getting specific on behaviors that you can actually help them change. And we always get asked too, well, you know, how much will can you change your personality? We're not about changing personalities in development. We're changing behaviors that, you know, that impact your team, that impact others around you. And then use, I think, specific measures rather than finding out if someone liked the program or if they thought it was, you know, made them feel better or they got promoted. You know, did they set actionable items? Did they actually put together a development plan? And then did they accomplish those goals? What did they do with it after they set those plans? And I think this, once again, because of the definition of leadership for us, does the team effectiveness improve? Did you make your team better by the things you learned, by the changes you made in your behavior? And then do you show an improvement on your 360? Because the employees know who the good leaders are. So in 360s, that's an opportunity for you to find out what your peers as well as your employees think.